Hello folks, today we're going to take a look at the Casio men's Retrograde sports watch. This is a model number MCW-200H-2AVCF. This good-looking sports watch has a Japanese quartz movement with a approximate battery life of 3 years. It has a very large case width of 53 millimeters, so this will look well or good on a larger wrist, or if you have a slimmer wrist and prefer to wear large watches, that's great too. The case thickness is 14 millimeters, which is quite large for a quartz movement. The lug-to-lug width is 54 millimeters, and the lug width itself is 20 millimeters, so it won't be difficult at all to find replacement bands if you so desire. Speaking of bands, it comes with a black resin strap, which is very rubbery, looks quite well, very sporty for the watch. The watch case is a black polycarbonate or black plastic. The lume on the hands, the lume on the watch is basically non-existent. When I wear this watch at night, the lume is just barely visible and it's almost unreadable. The back has a stainless steel cover. This is held in place with 4 small screws, so this is not a snapback or screw down case. It does have water resistance to 100 meters though. The face is a blue sunburst, very attractive. It also has a very, very subtle carbon fiber pattern to it, which is probably not visible in this particular video, but in the right light you can see that. The crystal is polycarbonate as well. So you can purchase these on Amazon.com for $47.99, I believe. The men's Retrograde sports watch does come in 3 different models, which are just variations in color. This is the white lettering with the blue face. It also has gold lettering with a gold face and white lettering with a black face. The latter two, the gold and the black, are a little bit cheaper than this blue one. All right, so let's take a look at the additional complications included with this watch. It does have a date function, and it also has some chronometer type functions. The dial on the right is the hours in military time from 0 to 24. The other 2 remaining dials, the one on the bottom and the one in the upper left, are attached to the stopwatch function. That is really the only additional functions this watch has, as a stopwatch function with a split timer. Once you press the start button, the hand on the bottom dial begin to move. That is your second hand sweep. The dial in the upper left corner is the minute sweep, and it goes only to 10 minutes. Once the stopwatch function hits a maximum of 10 minutes, it will reset back to 0. The second hand will begin to sweep backwards in a full arc for each minute, and the minute hand function of the stopwatch will also begin to sweep downwards. So it's a neat function to watch once, but it's more novelty. The stopwatch function is actually just a selling point. It's a novelty as well. It's not really functional because you can only approximate the time when you stop the stopwatch. While it does appear that there are 2 buttons on the left, there are not. That is just cosmetic. I'm sure that on more expensive models, those will also include additional functions. It is an attractive watch, but it is a large watch. The face is inset quite deep. The largeness is cosmetic. Does it have to be this large? Absolutely not. This is Invictus size large. The case thickness is something you'd see more in a watch that had an automatic movement that required that thickness for the mechanics to work within it. This decision to make it this thick and this large is cosmetic. For my 6¼ inch wrist, it's just too big for my style. Some other folks have slim wrists who like to wear larger watches. That's fine too. Now, this watch is semi-branded as a G-Shock, so I'm not sure if it actually is a G-Shock. It comes in a G-Shock box. The product description online within Amazon harkens to G-Shock history, but nowhere on the watch does it actually indicate or branded anywhere that it is a G-Shock. So, would I recommend this watch? I would not. I think it's just, they bulked it up just for the sake of bulking it up. It's got a lot of flash with no real substance. The stopwatch is not really usable unless you want an approximation of a few seconds either way. The date function is usable. The lume is terrible. It does have a quartz movement, so it will keep very accurate time. And it does have 100 meters water resistance. So if you're just looking for a good knock-around watch, you're not afraid to get wet, not afraid to scratch it up, not afraid to lose it, this may be the watch for you. I would recommend this for wearers with larger wrists due to the massive size of this watch. Okay, so let's discuss some of the pros and cons. Under the pros, it is lightweight. It has subjectively good looks. I like the blue face. It does have 100 meters of water resistance. It does have a stopwatch with split timer, but the way that was executed is also a con, which will be discussed. And under the pros, it does have that date complication. On the con side, the lume is terrible and basically non-existent. The stopwatch function is more of a novelty than an actual useful feature because you cannot get any fidelity on the time. The price is outrageous. Casio is a very fine watch company with a rich history and some classic lines and models out there like the F91, which you can still get for under 10 bucks. Their G-Shock line is just fabulous. But for $47.77, there are many, many other Casio options out there for less money. A quick search on Amazon for just Casio watches will bring up a plethora of options that are under $47 with many more features, much more durability. You can even get G-Shock Solar. So I really think this watch is an outlier in their lineup. I think this is one you can pick up at Walmart or Target. It's almost more of a, dare I say, fashion watch. I think this watch is also having an identity crisis. The box says G-Shock. The Casio literature references the G-Shock history, but nowhere on this watch is it actually branded or badged G-Shock. And after using this watch, wearing it for a month or two, it's not a G-Shock. It doesn't have that G-Shock toughness and feel to it. So I really think they missed the mark on that. I think this watch is being misrepresented. This watch is kind of riding on the coattails of the G-Shock lineup, and it's not really a G-Shock. It doesn't indicate G-Shock on the case. It doesn't indicate G-Shock on the back. It doesn't indicate G-Shock on the band. The only thing that indicates G-Shock is the literature and the box. So would I recommend this watch? Absolutely not. I think it's a terrible value. Casio is a fine company, but I think they missed the mark on this. I think it's an outlier. For $47, there are a plethora of other Casio watches out there that you could get. G-Shock line, solar powered, watches with many more complications than what this one has. I think this men's Retrograde is an outlier in an otherwise fantastic Casio watch lineup. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you real soon.